KFDX3 in HD, your local news leader. More experienced, more personal, more local. KFDX3 in HD, bringing you the spirit of Texoma. From Texoma's news leader, local, in-depth, community. You're watching KFDX3 News at 6 in high definition.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Billion.
And I'm Gwen Bevel. Tomorrow, Texas lawmakers will begin the 2013 legislative session.
And two new faces are representing Texoma this year. Ann Arnold joins us now from Austin with more. Ann?
It's move-in day here at the state capitol as incoming lawmakers prepare for the 83rd legislative session. James Frank of Wichita Falls joins 38 other incoming freshmen in the House this year. He spent this morning and afternoon in meetings and setting up his new office at the Capitol. Frank, who will fill the seat vacated by Lanham Line after just one term, says he's excited to get down to business. He says a major priority for him is limiting the scope of state government over local governments.
Any bill that removes local control, I think, is a bad bill. And I think too many times people here in Austin think they know what's best for Wichita Falls, for Knox City, for Archer City. They think they know what's best, and I think they don't.
Frank says he will vote against any bill that limits local control of cities, school districts, or mental health services. Meanwhile, Drew Springer of Munster moved in today as well. He'll represent the 68th district, vacated this past session by longtime Representative Rick Hardcastle. Springer also says the biggest issues facing this session will be reducing government regulations, something he says is killing rural Texas.
We've got to find a way of reducing regulations, and it's not just for small business. It's for agriculture, definitely for education. We way overreach in education with unfunded mandates. And then we've got to look at it from the same perspective from healthcare.
Tomorrow, these empty hallways will be packed with people as lawmakers are sworn in. Shortly after that, a Speaker of the House will be selected. We'll bring you the highlights of that tomorrow. But coming up tonight at 10, we'll hear from the incoming freshman lawmakers from Texoma on their priorities for the upcoming session. From Austin, Ann Arnold, KFDX 3 News.
And when lawmakers sit down to work out the budget for the 2014-2015 term, State Comptroller Susan Combs says they will have more than $100 billion to work with. Combs' biennial review revenue estimate projects $101.4 billion for general purpose spending. Combs says the state has experienced a strong rebound from the severe recession, thanks in large part to better than expected increases in sales tax collections and taxes on oil and gas production. Now, income from those and other taxes and fees is projected at $96.2 billion over the next 2 years. $3.6 billion of that is automatically transferred into the rainy day fund. At the end of this year, that fund is expected to hold just over $8 billion. There's also estimated to be about $8.8 billion in unspent funds in the current budget for the next 2 years. But in addition to other spending needs, the state owes $4.7 billion from Medicaid left unpaid in the last budget. And another pressing demand will come from teachers and educators who want cuts in the last budget restored. But Governor Rick Perry and Lieutenant Governor David Dewhurst have pledged that any spending increases will be to account for inflation and population increases only.
An Iowa Park man is dead after a pickup in which he was a passenger left the roadway and struck a utility pole yesterday. The Department of Public Safety says the truck, driven by 22-year-old Charles Edwin Hill of Iowa Park, was westbound on Old Iowa Park Road between Peterson and Bell Road about 2:35 a.m. yesterday. Troopers say the truck went off the road and hit the power pole, causing it to overturn onto its top and throwing Hill out. The passenger, 22-year-old Joseph Sosa, also of Iowa Park, was partially ejected. Sosa was pronounced dead at the scene by the Justice of Peace, Janice Sons. Hill was admitted to United Regional with what are believed to be non-life-threatening injuries. The DPS says neither man was wearing a seatbelt.
Well, the 21-year-old Wichita Falls man is behind bars tonight as police say he's suspected to be involved in several theft incidents outside Wichita Falls Walmart stores overnight. Alberto Cruz Ortiz is charged with theft from person, possession of marijuana, and failure to ID. Just after 7 last night, police were called to the Lawrence Road Walmart, where a man said another man approached him in the parking lot, displayed a gun, and demanded money. The victim described the offender as a Hispanic male wearing a Dallas Cowboys jacket and a black toboggan. Around that same time, a woman called police and told them that a man approached her in the parking lot and stole her purse. This time, though, no weapon was displayed. Now, about an hour later, police were dispatched to the Central Freeway Walmart. There, another woman reported a man approached her in the parking lot and stole her purse, but ended up dropping it. Witnesses told police the suspect fled across Northwest Freeway. Police located Ortiz at a home in the 2700 block of Palomino. Officers say he was on the front porch of the home and sitting next to a Dallas Cowboys jacket and a black beanie. Police say there is surveillance video of all three incidents, and they're investigating whether the offenses are related, and say they're interviewing more people who may be connected to these crimes.
Last week, we told you about two men who were arrested after a traffic stop, which authorities say led to the seizure of a large amount of marijuana. Tonight, those same men are facing additional charges after authorities say they found more drugs once they did an extensive search of their car. 26-year-old Diego Murillo and 18-year-old Isaac Murillo are each charged with possession of marijuana over 50 pounds and possession of a controlled substance. The two were arrested after a traffic stop Wednesday morning on Kell East at Allendale Road. Officers with the Wichita County District Attorney's Drug Enforcement Division say they found 66 pounds of marijuana in the car and 3.5 pounds of meth. The men are jailed on bonds totaling $1 million apiece. A Burkburnett man is without a home after a fire he says took just about everything he owns.
Yeah, the fire was reported about 11 this morning on the west part of town in Burkburnett. Lindsay Wapshaw was there. And Lindsay, do we know what caused this fire?
Doug, I spoke with the man who lived in the home, and he said he was unsure how the fire started. He said he'd been renting the house and several months ago was having trouble with the fire alarm. He said he reported it to the leaser and nothing was done about it. So when he heard the smoke detector go off, he disregarded it, only to find flames in one of his closets, leading him to his home, declaring everything a loss. Smoke poured out from this Burkburnett home at 1101 Prestige, the street filled with fire crews, including units from Wichita Falls. To fight a fire the resident first thought was a false alarm.
I heard a couple of chirps, and I disregarded it first, thinking that it was, just a mess up. But when I walked back there just to make sure, there was a pretty good blaze going in that closet.
A blaze which fire crews say burned at a rapid pace.
A lot of the houses, newer homes, have a heavy fire load. A lot of stuff on the inside is going to burn a lot hotter and a lot faster, so that's going to make the fire progress a lot quicker.
Quick enough that nothing inside could be saved.
I lost everything. I lost my college books and my furniture and gosh, I lost everything in there. It's going to take me a month or two to get back on my feet.
But at least Belle can still stand on those 2 feet with just minor injuries.
And it singed that arm, and I'm still coughing up black stuff, and I just took 1 or 2 breaths of it.
And now Belle will begin the new year from scratch, having to build back up what was burned down. The Red Cross also came to the scene and assisted Belle, and the fire remains under investigation.
All right, Lindsay, thank you.
Well, North Texas Area United Way program designed to help soldiers adjust to civilian life after their service overseas continues to make big impacts.
This is the second time the Triad program, which stands for Texas Resources for Iraq and Afghanistan Deployment, received funding to help those that risk their own lives for our freedom. Melissa Foy is following up on this story. And Melissa, how many families has Triad helped this time around?
Gwen, they've helped 43 families, and that money, which was donated by the Dallas Foundation and the Bridwell Foundation, has made that possible. Today, I had the privilege of sitting down with one of those men, Army Sergeant Jeffrey Fisher. He says without the help the Triad program provided him, he doesn't know where he'd be today.
Things started coming back. It was like the numbness had gone away.
After his 14-month tour of duty in Iraq, Army Sergeant Jeffrey Fisher said initially he didn't think he would have any major struggle adjusting to his old life. But then problems began to set in.
When I first came back, I didn't seem to have any problems with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. But after about a year, it became very hard for me.
Financial difficulties became too much to handle.
Basically, my income went down a lot, especially after they medically retired me. I went to about probably about a third of what I was making.
He reached out to Tiffany Rome, the Triad, or Texas Resource for Iraq and Afghanistan Deployment, coordinator for the North Texas Area United Way.
So it takes a while for their benefits to roll in from the VA, and so there's always that time in between them getting their benefits where they're not getting any income, and then unfortunately they're getting kicked out of their homes, or they're losing their vehicles, or they can't feed their family. So we're just here to try and keep them all in their homes and their vehicles in their driveways.
I don't know what I would have done without them. At one point I would have lost my car.
The program helped keep Fisher on his feet and pointed him in the direction to get the help he needed. Triad has helped nearly 4 dozen Texoma families since March. And if you or someone you know could benefit from this program, simply call 211 and they'll give you more information.
All right, Melissa, thank you.
Well, Skip's in now, and we'd be saying all kinds of thank yous if you could get some rain in here.
And it looks like we may be getting some rain in here. We've got a big storm system off Baja. Got it on the picture right here behind us. It doesn't look like much right now, but it is going to gain strength. And as it moves toward Texoma, rain chances pick up, especially by tomorrow afternoon. Forecast coming up just a couple of minutes.
All right. Thank you, Skip. Well, the Wichita Falls teen hopes that we'll be watching him compete in the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro.
But he will need some help from Texoma residents if his dream to compete against the best in the world can come true. We'll tell you how you can help coming up.
You're watching KFDX3 News at 6 in high definition with Doug Bilyeu, Glenn Bevel, weather with Chief Meteorologist Skip McBride, and sports with Tobin McDuff. Closed captioning being brought to you by Patrick Scott of Texoma's personal injury firm, the Altman Legal Group. Weather Watchers on KFDX is brought to you by State Farm agent Donna Adams. State Farm, insuring 1 in every 5 cars in the U.S.
Now, this is an upper low, which means that it's not reflected down on the surface. This is in the upper atmosphere. It's going to continue to spin south and then come right up, and it looks like it's going to come right up over us. As it does, we're going to have a surface low, and you'll see that on the extended forecast in a couple of minutes, that will form in South Texas. Between the two of them, it looks like we've got a really good chance of rain over the next day or two. You will notice, though, between Lubbock, Amarillo, and Midland, they're beginning to clear out just a little bit. So we'll see some clearing later on tonight, but then the clouds will be back in tomorrow. Now, further north, we've got another big system. You can see the ridge of high pressure right here. Notice how everything comes up and over. This has been a situation for the last, month and a half until the last week or so when we had that little snow and the system came off Mexico. Well, this is the same type, only this one's got more moisture to work with. Rain and snow depending on your elevations in the Pacific Northwest. Units correct ready into Tower Cam 3. The sun goes down. Notice the clouds try to break out a little bit. We've got multiple layers of clouds there, and there's the blue sky just as the sun starts to go down. Now, we may see some clearing overnight, but like I said, tomorrow it'll cloud back up again as moisture continues to come up out of the south. We had a 53 this afternoon. 54 is normal. 2006, we reached 83. 8 degrees in 1988. 30 is the average. This morning we had a 25. We should be above freezing by tomorrow morning. In fact, we're going to stay above freezing now until probably Monday or Tuesday of next week. 45, that's the current temperature in Wichita Falls. In Lawton, 46 degrees, and they will be falling very slowly, but we're still going to probably stay just above freezing for the overnight hours. Winds are out of the south, southeast at about 5, 10 to 12 miles an hour. Temperatures this afternoon were in the 50s just everywhere. Monday, one of the warmer temperatures at 55. Quanah, Crowell, 51. Electra had a 52. Vernon at 52. Frederick at 51. Burkburnett, 53, with Waurika, Duncan at 52. Walters at 51 degrees. As far as temperatures right now, we're sitting at 40 in Oklahoma City, Little Rock, 46 in Albuquerque. Midland's missing today. Maybe Midland took Monday's place here in Bowie. 53 in Austin, 53 in Houston. Further north, the temperatures have actually modified a little bit. It's only 32 degrees. International Falls, they've kind of warmed up a bit. Chicago at 34, Atlanta at 49, Albuquerque at 46. Of course, San Diego, beautiful, 60. Miami at 75. San Diego has got one of the best zoos in the world, and the zoo keepers around the world don't count it because they said if they had the weather that San Diego had, they could have the best zoo in the world as well. Across the northern tier, Seattle at 41, Boston at 29, the wind chills 25 in Chicago, warmer as you come south. Big push of a ridge of high pressure to the west, up and over, and then we have this southern section bringing up this low pressure system that we're going to see drift across Texoma. The track should take it pretty close to our area. That's going to be interesting because once it moves past us, there's going to be cold air wrapped around behind it, and it looks like that the cap rock from Amarillo, Lubbock, and maybe even as far south as Midland could pick up a little bit of snow. But I don't think that'll affect us because our temperatures are going to stay above freezing. High pressure across a big part of the country, colder air coming out of Canada, a little bit of a front down here by Miami. But what we're watching is this. Now watch the storm system begin to come up out of the south. The upper level storm is here and it tracks up, and you see a little bit of snow once again in Big Bend. But look at this area of rain, showers, and possibly even some thunder, especially Tuesday night through most of the day on Wednesday. Yay, tapering off early on Thursday. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy, 36 degrees by the morning, 7:40 will be sunrise. The winds will be light through the nighttime hours. They will pick up, though, the southeast at 10 to 15 through the day tomorrow. Sunset is at 5:42. Rain chances 30, 40, 50% by dark, 70% after dark. 70% on Wednesday, tapering off early on Thursday. And notice the temperatures really stay mild until we go into Sunday and Monday when temperatures at night drop below freezing. But daytime temperatures, pretty nice. Could see it. That should read 58, not 68. We'll be right back.
You're watching KFDX3 News in HD.
Welcome back. A Wichita Falls teen is making progress in his quest to make it to the 2016 Olympics, but he needs your help to get there.
Yeah, a portion of the proceeds of your meal ticket tomorrow night at Texas Roadhouse will benefit Devin Sobe. The 15-year-old has recently been named the team captain for the USA Judo team. He leaves Friday to compete in Australia. And Devin needs money to fund his trip so he can make it to the next Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. Simply go to Texas Roadhouse tomorrow between 4 and 10 and tell your server that you're there to support Devin. In turn, the restaurant will give some of the proceeds to Devin so he can get closer to his dream of going for the gold.
The first Wichita Falls Mayor's Town Hall Forum of the new year is set for tomorrow. Everyone is invited to join the mayor, city staff, and District 1 City Councilor Michael Smith at the Knights of Columbus Hall on Turtle Creek Road. The forum starts at 7 and provides citizens an opportunity to discuss city business, policies, and more with city leaders. For more information, call the Public Information Office at 761-7401.
Well, Tobin joins us now talking about our Athlete of the Week.
That's right. We'll meet the Athlete of the Week, and it's the first time for this particular sport that we'll meet this athlete, as well as having some high school signings as they go to continue their career in college. It's all coming up next in sports.
Next entertainment tonight, exclusive, the Casey Anthony movie.
Casey's a compulsive liar.
Prosecutor Rob Lowe and the secrets that weren't revealed in court.
What went on in that trial that people are still obsessed with?
Then Oprah under stress.
I think I have probably one of the most stressful lives of anybody I know.
And Larry Hagman's last role, only E.T. can show you.
Wait, you're on Dallas?
Dynasty.
Next E.T.
Coming up next on KFDX3.
For your best deal, click and save at danmullensnissan.com.
Our Athlete of the Week played a big role in helping the Wildcats snap a 4-game losing streak. Connor O'Neill had a hat trick for the Wildcats in a 5-2 win over the Topeka Roadrunners Saturday night. O'Neill scoring his first goal of the night just 2 minutes into the first period. His final goal coming on an empty netter in the third. O'Neill has 9 goals this season. The Wildcats back in action at the K. Yeager Coliseum Friday night when they dropped the puck at 7:15, taking on Odessa. Midwestern State sporting both the men's and women's Lone Star Conference Defensive Players of the Week this week. We start things off by taking a look at the men who posted wins over Eastern New Mexico, Abilene Christian, and Angelo State this week. A big reason why: Corbin Thomas helping limit the opposition to under 60 points per game and under 37% shooting from the field. The women, meanwhile, went 2-1, thanks in part to Andrea Carter, who averaged 12 points per game, nearly 8 rebounds per game, 4 steals, and 1 block per game. Corbin Thomas and Andrea Carter are the Lone Star Conference Defensive Players of the Week. 2 more Holiday volleyball players signing letters of intent to play at the next level this morning. Kristen Anderson, a 5'10" outside hitter, and Kelsey Bedingfield, a 5'8" libero, both signing to play at Seward County Community College in Liberal, Kansas. Bedingfield averaging 24 digs a game for Holiday, being named district MVP as a libero. Anderson, a 3-year letterman, receiving first-team all-district honors this year. The new Texas Association of Basketball Coaches state rankings released today. Texoma well represented on the boys' side in Class 3A. Burkburnett ranked 7th and Hershey ranked 14th. The Holiday Eagles in Class 2A are ranked 7th in the state. Coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, we have got highlights of Hershey and Holiday tipping off over at the Husky Fieldhouse. Should be a good battle between two teams ranked among the top 15 in their respective classifications. Continuing on, the Olney boys ranked 4th in the state in 1A Division I, while the Monday Moguls come in at number 20. And in Class 1A Division II, the Throckmorton Greyhounds are ranked 21st. Taking a look at the girls' state rankings, 2 Texoma teams ranked, including the Ryder Lady Raiders ranked 7th, and Bellevue coming in at number 22 in Class 1A Division II. The winter caravan for the Texas Rangers will be rolling through Wichita Falls, and that is going to happen on January 15th, 4 o'clock at Academy Sports. The announcement coming today, who will be making the trip to Wichita Falls. Dave Anderson, Justin Grimm, Michael Kirkman, and Tanner Shepard's a good group of young, talented pitchers there. And then the voice of the Texas Rangers, everybody will recognize, Eric Nadell, coming to make some autographs and talk to fans. Monday's DePaul has chosen KFDX as his outlet to inform everyone of where he will play college football. Saturday night at 10 o'clock, the highly recruited athlete will appear live right here on KFDX with me, making his announcement. The finalists, Baylor, Oklahoma State, SMU, Texas Tech, and Tennessee. All of those schools have made offers. Where will DePaul go? Find out right here on Saturday night.
Tobin, thanks.
And we'll be right back.
Player of the Week on KFDX is brought to you by United Regional Sports Medicine.
Into the night tonight, we're going to see the clouds begin to dissipate just a little bit. About 50 for a high tomorrow. Rain chances pick up from about early afternoon to our southwestern counties across the rest of the area as the day goes on. Best chance Tuesday night into Wednesday. We could hear some thunder as well. Not looking for anything severe, but we want thunderstorms in here because they produce heavier rain, and that's exactly what we need. You heard the wheat farmer the other night say we need a 2 or 3 inch rainfall to settle the wheat and get it to grow. Let's let that happen, and it'll start to fill up stock tanks as well, and then we'll see cooler temperatures going into Sunday and Monday. And Doug asked a few minutes ago, if we get enough moisture, we could see some rain or maybe even snow toward the end of that period.
All right, thanks, Jeff, and thanks for joining us.
Have a great night, everybody.